Hello everyone, welcome to StraightA. Dawson here, back with another video here today. We're going to be talking about Week 5 in the UFL. Of course, talking about Week 4 and Week 5 technically. But before we get started on all that, please leave a like down below, comment any suggestions for the videos going forward below, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Let's get right into the video. As stated before, we are in UFL Week 5, which is going to be very exciting. We got 4 weeks done. We got a lot of good teams, a lot of bad teams. I say a lot, but it's 8 teams total, so like who knows. But we're going to be kind of reviewing the games from the previous week and kind of showcasing how all of this actually ended up turning out. So first of all, we got the Memphis Showboats going to the Battlehawks. The Battlehawks have looked amazing. I saw comments at the previous video about how the Battlehawks were power ranked 5. I can assure you they definitely have gone up, and they are very, very good team. Because that was probably one of my worst takes so far, is that the Battlehawks have been so low in the power rankings. They have looked amazing. This game especially, the Showboats are the worst team in the UFL in my opinion. But man, when you have AJ McCarron going 222, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, still very great. Average carries in the UFL are like 4 or 5, and you're still getting 6.9. Great receiving all around, going well. Showboats, they just can't get anything going. Quarterback, they have nothing going. Running back, they got a decent game, I guess, but in the UFL, I don't think it's really panning out too well. Wide receivers, no one's reliable. No one's a reliable, not wide receiver 1. Their defense, okay, this is where I kind of disagree with the Battlehawks being really, really good in defense. I don't think they're that amazing in defense. I think they're just a reliable mid-range team on defense, but their offense is where they excel. The Showboats also just don't have an amazing defense either, but they're fine, whatever. We'll see how they pan out next year, but the Battlehawks are by far one of the best teams this season. Battlehawks are doing great, 32-17. They beat those Showboats, and I think this momentum is going to carry forward by a long shot. But DC Defenders versus the Birmingham Stallions. I like both these teams. Stallions are obviously the best team in the UFL. I keep almost saying NFL. And DC Defenders, I think, are still a solid second. I think you could argue them and the Battlehawks at this point. And here's where it kind of all gets together. Matt Corral is finally the quarterback in Birmingham. Best quarterback, probably, I don't want to say in the league. AJ McCarron's freaking good. The run game is reliable. The receiving can be all around the place. Pretty good for the Birmingham Stallions. The DC Defenders in this game did not look good. This was not their best offensive showing, and even their defense wasn't amazing. They got better stats than people give them credit for. They got a lot of great tackles when they got credit for. I think the Defenders still have one of the best looking defenses in the league, while the Stallions also just hard to just get. They're hard to move the ball on. Even though the Stallions don't have a really amazing defense, they're just reliable. They just make sure they get stops. That's all they need to do. Birmingham Stallions have been doing amazing, and I think they're still easily the #1 team in the UFL. DC Defenders, very solid team still, and I still think are very arguable for the second, third spot in the UFL. I don't think just because they lose to the best team by far in the UFL, they deserve to drop down much. So we'll talk about that later. Panthers and Brahmas. By the way, these two games were actually pretty fun. Because even against the Memphis Showboats here, as you see, I mean, even though it was pretty bad for the Showboats, they were at least able to kind of score early on and make it kind of close, but it just wasn't that entertaining at the end of the day. Michigan Panthers versus Brahmas. This was probably the most boring game of the week. I don't know. I guess the other game was not too great too. The Renegades versus the Roughnecks. So these next two games are not very great. But either way, some things to take away here. Panthers, again, they're just not figuring out anything on the quarterback situation. The running game, sure, they had a couple great runs, but that's about it from Perry. Receiving wise, again, multiple utilization, great. Brahmas are good. I just don't know where to feel about the Brahmas. I feel like they're either one of the best teams or one of the worst teams, and they've been doing really, really well. They're 3-1 in the league for a reason, so I'm going to give them their flowers. The run game's not very good. The quarterback's reliable. The receivers, they got 2 great receivers in Smith and Kirkland, amazing. Defensively, though, I mean, I'm not overly impressed with the Panthers here. I just don't think they're gonna. In the long run, I don't think the defense is going to work out. While the Brahmas have amazing defense. This is where the Brahmas, I think, are the team in the league. Is that their defense is just so amazing. It's so fireful. You can't do anything to the Brahmas when you're playing against them. You got pressure. Their corners keep on putting a lot of pressure on the receivers as well. And they just bust through an O-line. They stop the run game as best they can. Probably as best as any defense in the league can. It's just amazing. I love the Brahmas. This game wasn't very entertaining outside of the Brahmas kind of defense, sacks and all that good stuff. So, whatever. Moving forward, though, we got the Arlington Renegades and Roughnecks. Easily, this is probably the worst game of the week. Both quarterbacks didn't play well. Both rushing games weren't very good. No one could really lean on them. The receivers, no one was shining. So, offensively, this game was just rough to watch. The Roughnecks looked fine on defense. And I guess the Renegades, they didn't look good on defense, but I guess based on the stats, they did fine. Actually, technically better than the Roughnecks. I thought the Roughnecks looked really good on defense versus the Renegades. The Renegades, I just think, have lost any kind of momentum I had for them. I had so much hope in them. I just don't know if I can give that to them anymore. I'm probably still going to catch on the train for them, but still, Roughnecks, they look fine, but this is against two of the teams that just have nothing going for them, so I don't even know how to feel about either one of them. So Roughnecks picked up the win, but I don't know how impressive it really was to me. While the Renegades, they're just falling by the wayside, man. I don't know what to say at this point. So that's the recap of Week 4 and all the stats going forward. Let's go right into the power rankings for all Week 5 and predictions, of course. Here we are, the Week 5 power rankings and predictions, and we'll go right into it. There's not too much to say. I'm gonna go ahead and hit 1, 2, 7, and 8. Actually, I'll hit one. I'll go from bottom to top. Showboats, worst team by far. Just don't have anything I like about them. Roughnecks, they're slightly better because they get some explosiveness. They show some signs of really good of playing really well. The Renegades, they were my favorite teams going into the season. I can't reliably say I like them anymore. They haven't done anything. They haven't got any wins. So at this point, drop them down. I'll still give them a slight edge over the Roughnecks and Showboats, even though I probably should put them below the Roughnecks. I'm keeping the Renegades at 6 for now, but they have a very easy capability dropping to 7. Panthers, they're good, they're bad, they're good, they're bad, they're kind of mid. That's kind of where I fall along with the Panthers. Then we get top 4 teams. I think it's not even close at this point. I think it's so clearly 4 and 4 of Stallions, Defenders, Battlehawks, and Brahmas in any order you pretty much want, except Stallions at number 1. And then Panthers, Renegades, Roughnecks, and Showboats. Pretty much in this order, but if you want to put Renegades at 7, I'm not going to hate it. Brahmas at number 4. They're clearly the team that has the most inconsistency, but they're still a great team that is able to compete with these teams, and I like seeing what they're able to do. The Battlehawks. The Battlehawks, I think, were a really hot take I had at 5 last week. I'll admit that. I think it was a bad take. I still think they're not quite number 2. The reason I say that is number 3, I think they have one of the best offenses in the league. I think their defense is getting blown out of proportion a little too much. I think their offense is amazing. It's really fiery. Their running game is really amazing, but it's just their defense is just not great. While DC Defenders, I love their great defense, and I think their offense is reliable. Now, you could say the same thing about the Battlehawks. I had higher expectations for the DC Defenders going into the season. I think they played well against Stallions. We'll see how kind of the Battlehawks really kind of compare to them. We'll see kind of as the season goes forward. I'm going to give the very, very, very slight edge to DC Defenders. Battlehawks and DC Defenders are very, very similar. I've just decided that I think I'm going to keep DC Defenders in their spot until I see one more maybe big jump from either Battlehawks or one more big downgrade from the DC Defenders. The Stallions are far and away. Stallions could lose a game pretty badly, and still be number 1 in my opinion. They are what I thought the 49ers were last season. I just don't think you can count them out now yet. They've been dominating. They've been putting up great stats. They were the clear team going into this season. I don't see them being not number 1 yet. Just based on their play skill. So I'm going to keep the Stallions number 1 by a long shot, and it could happen even if they lose a game. I'm still probably going to keep them at 1. All right, moving forward, predictions. I'm going pretty much all. I'm going to have a theme here today. The Brahmas, I believe, are my upset of the week. I believe I actually got to look at the quick and easy of the. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, you just saw that. I pulled back up the tabs from earlier. The Brahmas and Renegades are not my upset. No, they are. No, they're not. My bad. No, the Brahmas have a minus 1.5 advantage over the Renegades. I think that's pretty obvious thing. I can't put any stock in the Renegades anymore. Brahmas are looking really good. Go with them. Stallions, no question here. I love the Stallions. I think the Stallions are great. I think the Roughnecks suck, so I don't think they suck. I just think they're not very good. So I'm gonna go Stallions here. Meanwhile, I got Battlehawks and Defenders. So this is where my number 2, number 3 will kind of come into play here. Kind of a main reason I didn't just put the the Battlehawks above the DC Defenders. I'm curious to see how this actually stacks up. I'm in my game of the week personally, but I'm gonna go Battlehawks. I do think that even though I have the Battlehawks underneath the DC Defenders, I think that the Battlehawks match up very well. I think that when you look at it, the DC Defenders do struggle a little bit. Their defensive line's great. I think their corners are really good too, but I think that they're so talented in so many different facets, and the Battlehawks are, that they just get around that whole team of DC Defenders. So I think the Battlehawks are going to edge it out. Plus, I think the defense of the Battlehawks can probably go against the DC Defenders offense better. We'll see. I'm going to lean Battlehawks, but take it either way. Now, my upset for the week will be the Panthers, because technically Showboats are a -2 favorites here. I don't know why. I guess the Panthers have been playing well. The Showboats aren't, I guess, an awful team. I guess in my opinion, they are, but I guess they aren't an awful team. I'm going Panthers. I think they're a crappy team, but I think it's going to be like a low-scoring game, and just Panthers going to edge it out somehow. So go with that. That's my picks for this week. We'll see how well I do. I actually don't know my current tally on right now. I did decently last week, I think, because I picked Yeah, I'm looking at the things. Actually, I don't think I did very well. I think I was 2-2. I think I was 2-2 on the dot. But either way, before we get going here, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and comment any suggestions going forward. Tomorrow should be a mock draft with me and Taylor. Me and Taylor kind of put together a mock draft. From there, I should be finishing out free agency, and then we're going to be streaming the NFL draft on Thursday, and then you'll have the video if you didn't catch the live, then we'll upload it on Friday. So hope you guys all enjoyed that stuff. StraightA Dawson is out of here. See you guys later.